What's up? What's up? This is the Boss Ladies Live radio show. Speaker Studio sponsored by Boss Ladies Inc. Yeah, y'all, let's get focused. Let's get ready. Got something I want to share real quick. This is just a random show. Just thinking about some things I saw on YouTube today. I was very inspired by Chris Swanson's shows. I didn't even know he had shows, that you can watch with him just running around talking to different people about their stories and being generally interested, getting some tips from him. He's a Iron Man, if you haven't heard, and he's a investigation police officer with a line. He just got a long list of stuff that he does, and it's all in a positive. That's what I see. I don't know the man, so I can't say what he does or don't do, but I've seen him in person at different events and stuff like that. He seems like a very powerful person, but he loves God, and he's a very positive person. He seems so happy every time I see him, so not a lot of happy faces walking around here, I'll tell you that. So before I come back, I'm going to take me some notes. I'll start it off with Ease Your Body by the Magic's app. DJ DD Ski in the building. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. One. Man, you better be careful who you listen to and watch and hang around, because people really ain't honest with each other like they should.
your body. Ease 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 your body.
Hey y'all, what's up, what's up? Good morning to everybody that's tuning in. Freedumb versus Freedumb is the topic. And you want to check out that song, go to Magic's app, Magix, for that sample of Ease Your Body and all the beautiful beats that I've made so far. Got a few comments, but I'm new to the site, so got a couple checking me out, playing with some sounds, and thinking. Got up this morning, excited about life, and like I said, I was watching a Chris Watson episode. It was pretty good. This lady just came out with a new book and about her son's story about how she lost him to some kind of illness or something she was working through, and she was talking about how he saved her life. And he gave up his for her, and he was a 2-year-old baby, and it was amazing how, life happens in a good way with, sorrows and stuff. I thought it was very inspiring. Then I looked down in the comments, and somebody just did not like Chris Watson for whatever reason. It was the only comment made. It was kind of negative, so it's like every time you try to do something right, here comes somebody with some negative crap, like you just cannot do nothing positive. Like some people just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. But anyway, I was looking through Twitter and I saw some things that I'll be looking at in the morning, with the blogs and things like that in leadership. And I came across a great article. It says, more on reading or more on literacy. And in these days and time, a lot of people lack the literacy that they need to better themselves or just better, their families and things like that, or just improving, period. So I want to share this article with you all just to start your morning off and, make the comments below. I'm live in the chat room just so you know. To elaborate on this article. It's pretty wordy, but I'm going to go ahead and shoot it off, and let me know your comments and questions that you have, and it's awesome. It says, life leadership is making a difference by helping those who want to function in our society more independently. Literacy and function freedom are married together. Additionally, we see a direct correlation to the decline of literacy in the U.S. and the financial matrix. Is there any correlation to our country's current debt spiraling out of control with no end in sight and our decline in literacy? Best-selling author and leadership expert Orrin Woodward writes about the financial matrix as a system of control where governments and banking systems gain power and profits by creating money and enticing the citizens of the world into debt. Illiteracy is the antithesis to empowering people to independent thought. Has anyone witnessed a decline of independent thought? Pulitzer Prize winner Chris Hedges writes in Empire of Illusion, functional literacy in North America is epidemic. There are now 7 million illiterate Americans. Another 27 million are unable to read well enough to complete a job application, and 30 million can't read a simple sentence. Illiteracy makes it possible to create an illusion to people who can no longer distinguish the truth. With the rise in debt, we would expect to witness a progressive ratio of increasing illiteracy. Via the propaganda machine, we are duped into believing that politicians and big government will fix everything. Without knowledge of the traditions of moderation, thrift, and hard work, the elites take control of the unsuspecting public. The first documentation of the word freedom was found on a clay tablet in Sumeria around 2500 BC. It was associated with the ruler, hold on y'all, this is a word I ain't never seen, Jura Kungina, who made the written word available to the masses. And if I made it wrong, I'm sorry. Since then, the rise and decline of freedom has been associated with literacy. Today, as with this writing, Life Leadership strives to revive a movement to increase literacy. There have been numerous warnings given that if ignored, illiteracy will only spread. People lose their independence as a result of illiteracy. They are forced to rely on the all-knowing elites to think for them. George Orwell pointed this out, quote, "A society becomes totalitarian when its structure becomes flagrantly artificial, that then its ruling class has lost its function but succeeds in clinging to power by force or fraud," end quote. The decline of critical, independent thought can be traced to when schools changed their primary role from stimulating people to have a hunger to learn and instead largely train people to work. One author intent on warning us about this change and what it would do is Christopher Lasch, who writes, "Society no longer rests on a population for achievement. It requires instead a stupefied population, predisposed to seek its satisfaction in the time set aside for leisure." He writes further, quote, "Universal public education, instead of creating a community of self-governing citizens, has contributed to the spread of intellectual torpor and political passivity," end quote. It is not difficult to believe that the progressive debt levels and the uncontrolled printing of money since the 1950s could not happen without the systematic dumbing down of the masses. Samuel L. Blumenthal writes, quote, "To believe that such massive functioning illiteracy is an unplanned phenomenon beyond the control of anyone is to believe that our educators with all of their doctoral degrees literally don't know what they are doing. After all, teaching children to read is no big mystery. Teachers have been doing it for the last 3,000 years, and were doing it well until the big switch in compulsory schooling took place," end quote. For the financial matrix to thrive, one thing must be in place in addition to creating a culture of illiteracy, and that is, we must be programmed to be consumers. Former New York Teacher of the Year John Taylor Gatto says, quote, "We are creating consumers rather than contributors. Mass market corporate and financial elites need consumers who live by consumption," end quote. Past New York University professor Neil Postman, author of Teaching as a Subversive Activity, sees Robin S. Eubanks describes the alliance between government, big business, and institutions of higher education as crony capitalism, where these agencies can influence the economy and control people. Looking back through history, educational trusts like the Rockefeller Foundation controlled important resources, money, that created an informal association of individuals that began to influence the curriculums. Gatto writes, quote, "Later, Edward Thorndike of the Rockefeller Foundation sponsored Columbia Teachers College, creator of curious new academic specialty, quote, educational philosophy.